My name is Vui, and I am the Leadership Fellow for the Women Code mobile track. And now we're ready to go on and talk about our mission, which is to empower diverse women to excel in technology careers. And our vision is to build a tech industry where diverse women and historically excluded people thrive at every level. Our code of conduct states that Women Who Code is an inclusive community dedicated to providing an empowering experience for everyone who participates in or supports our community. And our events are intended to inspire women to excel in technology careers, and anyone who is there for this purpose is welcome. You may read the full version and access our incident report form at womencode.com/code of conduct. And you all are here presumably because you're excited about the upcoming Women Code Connect conference happening on May 16th. So feel free to go and scan that QR code and get to the links, and hopefully you all will register for that. We also will have, let's see, oh yes, and here is QR code to apply to speak for the Women Code Connect, and we're all here to learn what it takes, what we're looking for, and talk proposals. So hopefully we can give you that insight today. Today we have several goals. We want to help you understand why you should consider becoming a conference speaker. And we're going to learn some tips and considerations when developing a proposal, talk, or idea. We'll also be sharing some tips and best practices for developing your proposal description. And you'll get to learn more about submitting to the upcoming Women Code Connect 2024 Thrive in Tech Conference. So if you want to share for a minute, why are you interested in becoming a conference speaker? We'd love to hear from you. All right, well, if people are kind of shy, then, oh, okay, we are getting some responses, awesome. Stephanie says, share my knowledge, give back, have more voices and infrastructure. Oh, wow, there's a lot of interest in speaking here, lots of different reasons. Educate people, wonderful. Give back and connect. Improve my public speaking and knowledge sharing skills. Wonderful. Career advancement. Yes, these are all great reasons to want to become a conference speaker. So thank you for sharing, and yeah, keep them going. All right, so next. Now, becoming a speaker, as some of you have already shared, is a great way to challenge yourself to develop new skills like teaching, public speaking, which some of you have mentioned, and proposal writing. It helps you to build your portfolio and create a foundation as a thought leader in tech to elevate your professional presence in the industry. That's certainly one way that becoming a speaker has helped me over the years. And it's also a great way to network with other technology professionals for exposure to more opportunities. You can support other technologists and the Women Code mission, and you can be a change maker and contribute to important conversations. So now, how do you find speaking opportunities? Well, there are several ways that you can find speaking opportunities. You can start by asking your manager, your team lead, or your mentor if there are opportunities for you to speak, teach, or mentor, say at work, for example. You can search for key phrases like calls for proposal tech conferences or events, apply to speak at tech conferences. You can add in your search phrase, your tech stack for the types of conferences you might be interested in speaking at. Those are all ways that can help. You can certainly join a Women Code network and volunteer to speak. I know that it's always a challenge for both the local chapters as well as the global communities to look for speakers. So if you offer to help speak, that would be tremendous for your network. And of course, responding to Women Code calls for proposals for major events like Women Code Connect. So how do you come up with a talk proposal idea? Here's a few considerations. First of all, you need to overcome your imposter syndrome. So you don't have to be an industry expert or experienced speaker to present at a conference. You already have plenty of knowledge, opinions, and experiences that could benefit your community and other technologists. And keep in mind too that it is both your experience and skills and perspective that make your talk valuable. And many technologists have made their speaking debut at Women Code events, including our global conferences with thousands of attendees. So this is a really great opportunity for you. So now we need to understand what is a talk proposal. A talk proposal is an opportunity to offer to share your expertise or experience at an event or conference. It should include a talk title and description, as well as any other information that the application requests, like your headshot, bio, etc. And you will likely encounter CFP, which stands for Call for Proposals, which is our call for your talk proposals. So when you're trying to come up with ideas for talks, consider talks you may have given that you can base your proposal on. So have you given a talk or taught a workshop or training session at work or school? Have you maybe taught or mentored a colleague, friend, or mentee on something technical or career related? Or have you published a blog or an article, either formally or informally, like on LinkedIn, on a technical or career topic? All these can be good resources for you to base your talk proposal on. And consider experiences that are unique to you that you could base your proposal on. Like, for example, have you completed training or learning experience that you think would be beneficial, pass on to others? Have you accomplished something personal that has supported your career in tech and could be a good example or inspiration for others? Have you accomplished something professional? For example, you landed your dream job, deployed your first app, developed a new tool, and you can share how to do that with others. And, again, as I mentioned before, your perspective is very valuable. So you can potentially add to the conversation on current industry trends. And think about what you want to achieve by giving your talk. Maybe you want to explain a concept relevant to the audience that they could benefit from knowing either personally or professionally. Maybe you want to show or demonstrate a new technology or a technique through live examples. Perhaps you want to give the audience an opportunity to try hands-on or learn by doing something. Or maybe you want to inspire the audience to think differently. Perhaps you want to challenge the audience to question the status quo through your diverse opinion. Or maybe you want the chance to engage the audience in a discussion or connect with them. And consider the audience for your talk. What level of learner is your talk for? What demographic is your audience? What type of subjects do you think your audience would be interested in? What don't they know that you think you can teach them? And why do you think they need to know this, and how will it benefit them? So let's consider your talk format. If there's a concept that you think is relevant to the audience that they could benefit from, knowing either professionally or personally, that could be a lightning talk. If you want to demonstrate a new technology or technique through some live examples, that might work really well for a long talk. Or if you want to give your audience an opportunity to learn by doing something hands-on, a workshop is a really great format for that. Perhaps you want to inspire or challenge the audience to think differently. A keynote or panel discussion would be really great for that. And or maybe you want to engage the audience in a discussion, a panel or networking session would be really great for that. So considering the conference CFP, you want to pay attention to these guidelines very carefully when you're submitting your CFP to ensure success. So submit a topic that is relevant to the event, submit a topic that fits the audience, and make sure your proposal is interesting, accurate, and free of errors. And include your bio, make sure it is concise, that your name is how you would like it to appear, and your headshot is professional or high quality. So there's a few things you want to avoid to help ensure success of your CFP. So you want to avoid repetitive ideas or talk proposals. So think about what's something new you want to bring to your audience. Make sure that your idea or proposal is unique to you. And make sure that your descriptions are well developed and can explain what your talk will be about and what your audience will learn. Make sure to double check and proofread that you don't have a whole lot of errors, that the descriptions are not too long, it's not too short. And it's always a good idea to ask someone that you trust to kind of look over your proposal, make sure that it's interesting, accurate, and free of errors. And now we will pass this on to Hope, I believe.
Hi, everyone. All right, so now that we've discussed the content, let's dive into figuring out what you want to title your topic or your talk. Before we go into that, just keep in mind that we have a lot of resources available for you. You can always go to the Women Who Code YouTube to look at prior sessions that we've had for different conferences and technical talks, and that can perhaps inspire you for something that you might want to speak about. And then you can also venture to our resources page to look at previous workshops and also make use of the community at large, whether it's the Women Who Code general Slack or one for the more specific technical tracks. And we also want to encourage you to connect within the community. Feel free to reach out to past speakers or others within the network that you might be aware of as having spoken directly on Slack or perhaps on LinkedIn. And who knows, you might make a new friend, a new mentor, or just get some feedback or new ideas. Okay, so writing a talk proposal title. Now that you have thought about the content and you know that you have something that you want to say and you are clear on what you want to accomplish with your talk, you're clear on the audience, and you are clear on the format. And you've also confirmed that your talk idea would be suitable for a conference or an event. The next thing you also want to make sure you keep in mind is the submission guidelines. But once you have all of that sorted out and clear, the next important thing is figuring out how to title your talk. And there are a number of factors to consider in doing this. It's your first impression. So whoever is receiving your proposal will first evaluate the title, and it has a huge influence on whether or not they accept your talk. It's the first thing that an attendee looking through the list of events and talks or different possibilities for them to attend that they'll consider and in selecting their agenda. So the key thing is you want to use something that will actually hook them and excite them. And one other thing to keep in mind is just, how can you achieve all of that in as few words as possible? Just being effective, but compelling and exciting people all at once. So keep in mind the following. We want you to keep it brief. You don't want to go too far. You can also, there are tools as well that you can use to kind of help you come up with a title, but just follow these sort of guidelines or standards, and that should kind of help you keep it to a point where it's not too long, but also be descriptive and give a sense of what you're going to be discussing or teaching along the way. And then when you're referring to a specific topic, there are quite often certain keywords or sometimes buzzwords, yes, or even just phrases that are typically associated with that topic. And that can be more effective in having your audience have a greater sense of what it'll be about. And also you're meeting them at a point where they'll actually be able to understand what you're saying at a point of familiarity. But then you also want to find what distinguishes your talk from the general. So that's the hook, that's the point of interest. So you want it to be clear, something that they can understand, will also be familiar, but you also want your unique approach to be highlighted. And then most importantly, your talk title should be accurate and free of errors. You want it to, not have any typos in it. Just show that you actually put some thought, into your talk. It's not necessarily quantity, it's the quality of what you're presenting. And essentially, don't hesitate to have fun as well. We love a good pun. So don't forget to be playful, use alliteration, have fun. You can be witty and clever with it, but at the end, it must have some substance. So just keep all of these factors in mind and maybe, kind of play around with some ideas and troubleshoot and ask friends for feedback. So here are some examples of talk titles. Here we've got one called Let's Get Fired Up, Getting Started with Fire-Based Firestore. As you can see, that one's having quite a bit of fun with, fire, but at the same time, it's still communicating the substance of what the talk will be about and who it's targeted for. Beginners using Firebase. The making of a mentor, elevate your connections and career by helping others. We've got a little bit of alliteration there, and also what the outcome will be, elevating your connections, what the impact will be. 13 tips to write code like a Swiftie. That's having a little bit of fun as well. Also kind of taking the listicle concept and giving you a sense of, quantifying what the value will be and what you will specifically be taking away. And then finally, actually not finally, here we've got build your professional portfolio with online tech writing, getting started. This just very clearly and specifically articulates what you'll be doing, pardon me, what you'll be doing and the specific area that you'll be exploring. Online tech writing, that's something that others will be quite curious about, but then might understand that, hey, if you want to build a portfolio or something that can speak on your behalf in terms of your expertise, here's a way to approach that. All of that is communicated quite clearly within this title. Then finally, we have secure but accessible, building sites your users can actually use. Taking something that's actually quite technical, but phrasing it in a way that is accessible. So ironically, that does that in two different ways, an accessible title, but also talking about something very technical and about security, but what the goal is, like what you're looking to achieve. So I think maybe taking some notes from each of these and then playing around with your own ideas. Something else that's really valuable and important is starting with a verb. Improving improving communication for the introverted engineer, building Angular applications for performance optimization, customizing your continuous integration and continuous delivery for mobile, mitigating biased algorithms in the real world, developing emotionally intelligent teams in tech. The verb is incredibly powerful and definitely should be used as much as possible when exploring titles. All right, so the other thing to consider is telling it in two parts. So just using colons in your title can be really powerful in conveying key points of what you will be talking about. So the first part could strongly share what the talk is about and could definitely stand on its own as its own title. But then the second part, the other side of it, goes into a little bit more detail about what the talk will be about. And here we have a couple of examples. Score Your Dream Job, the Android Test Guide to the Galaxy. I love that play. Definitely a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan. And typesetting in CSS. And then of course, yeah, after the colon, you get a little bit more detail for each of those. All right, and then finally, yes, make it fun. This definitely sticks out to me quite a bit in reviewing talk ideas. I love when the ideas are playful. It gives me a sense that a topic will be approachable or that the speaker will likely approach the topic will engage the topic in an approachable and perhaps even a fun way. So don't hesitate to be creative. And yeah, look at these examples. We've got 13 tips to write code like a Swiftie, which we mentioned earlier. Fun with feature flags, make changes without extra code. And a crash course in SSH. I love that. And then digging ourselves out of code debt. Yes, fun with flags. Yeah, I know, don't get me started. I see that a lot of these titles are having some resonance in the audience, but again, if you do have questions, you can also just reach out to others in the community. What do you think of this? Perhaps before you're submitting your proposal, maybe run a poll amongst your friends and see which ones resonate. Okay, and then the other thing to keep in mind is sharing a problem statement. So you can use your title as an opportunity to share a statement about a question, a problem, or a challenge that members of the community might be experiencing to highlight how your talk is going to help solve their problem. So here are some examples. How can software developers help mitigate climate change? Senior, staff, principal, understanding engineering levels and how to advance into them. Is a dev bootcamp right for me? I quite like questions as well, because again, it just very clearly suggests that the answer to that question will be given in that talk, and my curiosity is piqued, and I want an answer. So that will definitely compel me to want to sign up and attend whatever talk or topic or event that's for. Okay, and then next we want you to make it actionable. So highlighting tips and tricks, do's and don'ts, mistakes and pitfalls to avoid, takeaways that your reader can learn and potentially start implementing right away. And so here we have what they don't tell you about tech interviews, do's and don'ts of professional networking, mistakes to avoid as an AI practitioner in the industry, actionable, specific, clear takeaways, also a little bit of intrigue as well. So as a takeaway, what I'd love for you to do is look at these titles that you see here and perhaps share in the chat how you might improve them, or what do you think is, not particularly working, or how they could be made more engaging and more exciting. We've got Python fundamentals, career advice for women in tech, machine learning tools to help you finish your project without wasting any more time, so your boss will be impressed and promote you. Keeping up with the Kardashians. Don't make the same mistakes I did. So yeah, we'd love for you to share in the chat how they could be improved. What do you like? I wonder if keeping up with the Kardashians should just be written with a K. I don't know, but just add your own flair to it and see what would work. Anyway, I believe that's it for me, right? Maria, are you ready to take over? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so now that Hope explained everything about how we should write the title of the proposal, let's focus more on the description of the proposal. The description of the proposal is the second thing that the reviewer will evaluate when considering whether to accept your talk or not. So it's super important to write it in a way that includes all the important characteristics of a good talk. So the description should be between 50 and 100 words, but do follow the call for speaker requirements according to the conference that you would like to speak. The description should answer, so what, or why should someone learn or know this? What problem or issue is your talk addressing? It should clearly and concise describe your talk, what your talk would cover, what the audience will know or be able to do after coming to your talk that they could not do or they didn't know before attending, and should be accurate and free of errors. Here is a little checklist that you can use to check if your description is up to the standards. So you should check if your description is clearly matching the title, if the audience will know what the problem or issue you're helping them to solve is. You should check that the description covers the key topics you will discuss in your talk, and you should check if you gesture towards the learning level or audience for the talk, and does the audience know what they will learn or be able to do after coming to my talk? Another question that you can ask is that, does my talk follow the formatting guidelines and is free of any errors? So you can use this checklist before you submit your call for speakers proposal to ensure that it meets all the checks. Here's an example of a successful talk description. The title of the talk is The Making of a Mentor, Elevate Your Connections and Career by Helping Others. I will read it, and if you like, please share in the chat, what is this proposal doing well? What is good about this description? What points of the previous checklist does it cover? So the description says, mentorship can help to identify areas for personal and career growth, build new skills, and create opportunities for you. Often, when looking to level up in your career, you may think it's time to find a mentor to support your next stage. But have you considered that maybe it's time to become a mentor? Both mentoring and being mentor can grow your skills, connections, and opportunities. Join this session to hear from the speaker how becoming a mentor grew her leadership and communication skills, helped her gain confidence as a developer, and build her network and friendships. Learn how to get started as a mentor and how to have a successful mentorship relationship. So we can see different points that are nice about this description. It gives a clear, it's the audience for this talk is clear. It helps you understand what you will gain out of this talk. It doesn't have any errors. So this is one of the good examples that you can follow to write your own description. We have another example for a description. This one is about, the title is about building more inclusive Android apps, animation, and reduced movement. Please share in the chat what is this proposal doing well, and I will also read it. So this is about a 35-minute technical talk on the mobile stage. And it starts with saying, not all users enjoy animations. Different types of movement and animations can be distracting or cause symptoms such as nausea or dizziness. Many users survive in our animated digital world by modifying modifying the operating system level setting to reduce animation. Join this session for a discussion on creating inclusive native Android apps to gain an understanding of potential problems that animations might cause for some users. Learn how to develop more inclusive and respect the animation setting in native Android apps. So as some of you have mentioned, yes, this proposal is actionable, it's specific, it sets the problem right from the start, and it gives you what you will learn by joining this session. So if you're interested in building inclusive native Android apps and get an understanding of the potential problems that animations might cause and how you can overcome them, this is a great talk to join. Yes, it gives a background of the problem, helps you to understand how you're going to solve it, and it makes you want to actually follow this talk, attend the event and learn more about it. So you should definitely apply to speak and give it a try. And if you like to apply to speak for the Women Who Code Connect, you can scan the QR code, which is now presented in your screens. And this will take you to the Call for Speakers form, where you will be able to submit your talk. We're looking for diverse speakers to share their technical expertise and groups traditionally underrepresented in technology to apply. Women Who Code Connect is a perfect venue both for first-time and experienced speakers. You will have a supportive team that will help you through the Call for Speakers process, so please don't be hesitated about it. This is a great opportunity for you to learn and grow. We're looking for proposals either for lighting or full talks, workshops, or panel that will help diverse women on their professional journeys in tech. And you can focus on on a variety of topics, whether this is like career navigation or a technology, a specific solution that you have built. If you want to offer tech career advice, if you want to walk through a work project that you have done and its challenges, a project that you have created for fun, or a solution that you have submitted for or developed through the Women Who Code Hackathon, all these topics are welcome. So please don't be hesitated to apply. And again, if you would like to apply, here is the QR code that you can scan, and it's going to take you to the form that you will complete for your talk. And that's about it. I think now it's time for the Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can still enter them on the Q&A box, and me, Wooly, and Hope will help you address any questions that you may have.
Well, Maria, should we start by going through the Q&A?
Yes, let's start.
All right, so Ebony says, I know I want to speak, but I don't know where to start. What would be your advice on where I should start? So I think I need a little bit more about this. Is it like, do you have a topic, a general topic, or technology in mind, or maybe the next question might give us some insight. She says, I'm planning on writing an article on generative AI video software and some links with unlawful or traumatic repercussions on children. Would this be too sensitive to hold a talk on? I would aim the talk towards people who are interested in AI/tech and also true crime, as I will be covering some law aspects in it. Well, that's a very interesting one. I don't know if you have some thoughts, Maria, since with the emerging tech AI portion.
Well, starting from the first question, I would like to advise Ebony to talk about something that you're interested and passionate about. I think this is like the best way to win the audience also. Something that you feel confident about, maybe it's a project. How you can, talk about generative AI would be super interesting. And maybe we can even discuss the particulars about your talk in the Slack channel, and we can connect to discuss the exact topic that you would like to present about it. So it could be technical, it could be like an overview of tools that are available, it could be it could be very it could be either technical or more like a lighting talk, or even focusing on the problem and the solution.
All right, that's very good advice, Maria. Let's see. Ashley asks, should we submit 2 talk ideas for different audiences in case the target audience isn't what the organizers are looking for? So I have one suggestion for this, and that is if it's a conference that has been on for a while, like a number of years, usually there will be recordings of previous talks. I would start by looking at that first. Do a little bit of research. You can usually tell from past conference talks what sort of audience you might be gearing your talk towards. So that will help narrow things down a little bit. If you have the opportunity to get some feedback on your talk before you submit it with someone who is maybe familiar with the conference, that's another way to go about doing it, so that you can be a little bit more focused in how you put together your proposals. So that would be my recommendation. I don't know if Hope or Maria, if you have anything else to add to that.
No, not to that specifically, but I'm was just looking at the next question about cold feet, and I can definitely speak to that for sure. So Itunu asks, what are tips on how to prevent cold feet while presenting? And what I will say is, I don't have any tips for preventing them. I always have cold feet. I'm always nervous. I'm nervous now, but you just accept it as coming with the territory and doing what needs to be done despite it. And also something that I would say is just remembering what purpose it's serving, who it's for, and those are things that will kind of help you forget your anxieties. Yeah, I think just kind of thinking more of a service approach, who you're supporting, how it might be helpful, will help you kind of prioritize, where your focus is. Yeah. What do both of you think?
Let's see, I guess Morgan has a similar question. Any tips for overcoming nerves when speaking? So I guess what I would like to add to this is, first of all, your audience wants you to succeed. So they're not there to like judge you or whatever. They're there because they're interested in learning about what you have to share. So go in, I think it helps to go with the right attitude. And something that has helped me, and just so you all know, I consider myself to be an introvert, and I've just gotten more comfortable with public speaking just because I've just done it so much over the years. And I've been doing talks even in person, long before COVID. So I started approaching it as, you're there just to have a conversation with the audience. You're there to share your knowledge. So if you think of it as less of, oh, this is a performance that has to be perfect, but if you instead turn around and think of it as, I'm sharing something, I'm having a conversation with my audience. I don't know if that would help you. Maybe not, but that's like the attitude that I've adopted, and it's helped me. So I hope between all of us, you can find a tip that will be useful for you.
I do want
And
to add, oh, pardon me, go ahead.
oh, of course. So I just wanted to add that if you get any chance to practice before, that will be great because it will give you like an initial feeling of how it's gonna be on the actual day. I mean, even by yourself, just try to practice talking about, saying out verbally the talk, like pretend that you're actually live and do like a dry run or use one of the practice sessions if they're available to do so. And of course, if you get an opportunity to volunteer, to host any other events or moderate events, that will be fantastic. So I think public speaking, you only improve as you practice. And so yeah, if you get any chances, give it a go. Hope, sorry for interrupting you.
All good. Adventures of Zoom. I was gonna just add for one more thing, especially with, with Women Who Code, prioritizing being inclusive. I really want anyone, especially if you have a disability, not to rule yourself out, because I think sometimes we think talks have to be super smooth and amazing. And I can say for myself, I have chronic respiratory issues, and you just kind of go ahead and you do it. And so if there is anyone that has something that you might think would rule you out for whatever reason, just it's always worth at least trying. And if you have a message to share that's much more important and much more valuable than these other so-called limitations, let's say.
Very well said, everyone. So are you ready for the next question? Which is, how can you make the talk more interactive in a virtual setting? So yeah, that's a good one. So you've seen what we've done already is having like icebreakers, encouraging people to engage in the chat. That helps. You can also try other things like doing polls or surveys at different points in your talk. Yeah, I know Hope is starting to type something.
I was going to say try tools such as Slido and Mentimeter. Those are always fun and easy ways, just asking questions, doing little temperature checks. Also, memes are always a great way to keep people engaged and excited.
Absolutely. Let's see, the next question, AI is all around. How do I stick out with a topic that everyone talks about?
I would say at your own touch. So apply AI to one of the problems that you are passionate about, or introduce us to one of your projects, or show us what you have learned by building something. AI is everywhere nowadays, but there's so many topics that one can focus on. And if it comes from personal experience or from your learnings, I think it will be unique.
All right, you ready for the next question? Let's see. Can I give a talk about climate action and the analysis done via R language and not really Python? Yeah, that's a very specific technical question. I'm not sure how to address that. Maybe that would be a good data science talk, perhaps. I don't know if anyone has any other thoughts.
Stephanie's writing an answer for that.
Well, shall we go on to the next question then? Ashley asked, what stage in career should you gear talks for this towards, entry level to mid-level What about team leads or aspiring team leads, managers, etc.? I think gear the talk towards where you are in your career and maybe what you aspire to be. That would be one suggestion. I don't know if there's others.
Mackenzie mentioned that for Connect 2024 particularly, the target audience is mid to senior level. And we should focus on technical talks and introducing like a language or a framework or what you have achieved. So hopefully this answers the question.
Okay, so what if in the middle of a talk I get lost in the words? How to make the audience not get lost with me? Yeah, I would say don't panic. It's okay. Sometimes, I just take a moment to regroup. And sometimes I forget what I'm saying in the middle of a sentence, when I'm talking to someone. So just pause for a moment because I've learned a trick that if you start to panic a little bit or get a little bit nervous, just pause. Because the pause feels longer to you than it does to the audience. So I hope that helps. All right, shall we go on to the next one? I want to start getting more involved with giving talks, but I struggle with coming up with topics that I feel others would be interested in and trusting that I have enough experience to give a talk. Ideas on how to build up this confidence.
Yes, I would say that at least from my experience with the digital tracks or the virtual tracks, they're a great opportunity, and the local tracks as well. There are opportunities to submit proposals or ideas for talks, and that can be an opportunity to practice. Also, highly recommend if you ever, you can volunteer for Women Who Code, and that can give you the opportunity to kind of see the event development process and see how talk ideas come together. And I don't know, it kind of gives you a safe playground for practicing, but I would say just engaging the community and talking to people before you give a talk is a great place to start. What's the worst that could happen,
All right, so Karen asks, choosing a technical topic is hard. For example, I work on a low-code tool, Oracle Apex, and low-code is a reasonable topic now, but I have no idea if low-code is of interest to the Women Code crowd. Do you have any guidance for technical topics? I liked what Hope mentioned earlier about getting involved in volunteering for your chapter, or local chapter or global technical track to kind of get an idea for what topics are already out there that have been done, what sorts of things the community is interested in. Yeah, so getting involved is a good way to know how to get started, I think. And let's see. How much of an expert must you be to speak on a topic? The imposter syndrome is a barrier for speaking and thinking I'm ready or enough experience to speak on a topic. I think we've touched upon this in the presentation, but yeah, basically you don't have to know everything about a topic in order to speak on it. We're all learning, even if you're intermediate or senior level on a topic, there's always more to learn. And also your audience, there may be some people in the audience that may prefer or need a beginner level talk, and there's always a need for those. So yeah, don't feel like you have to know everything. Nobody knows everything. But there's always a range of levels and experience in your audience, and somebody that would be interested in hearing what you have to share. Anything else?
I would just like to underline what you have said again. No one knows everything. So if you want to give a talk on a particular topic, just ensure that you know enough about this topic. So if you're presenting a technical tool, or if you're presenting a project you have developed, know the details behind it. If it's something that you have built, I'm sure that you know all the answers to all the questions, right? So there is no way you wouldn't feel confident. And if there is something that you don't know, if someone asks you something and you don't know the answer, you can just say, I'm not sure about this answer. I can look it up and we can discuss this even further after the event. It's okay not to know everything about the topic.
Absolutely. Let's see. Ebony says, I'm not sure how to say it better. I feel like I would be good at talking as I'm more extroverted when I'm talking about points I'm passionate about. I just don't have any experience with talking, and being fresh in the industry, I don't have a bulk of wisdom on topics in this industry aside from my personal interests. What'd be a good topic for me to try to start off with? So I hear you're struggling a little bit, Ebony, and let me offer another idea for you to consider is something that I do when I try to think of topics for talks is I think of what problem do I want to solve in my technology or my tech stack, and then I'll go out and build a project around that. And then I can submit a talk based on my project. Because you make a good point, to be able to talk about something, you have to have some experience or some knowledge about something. And a good way to do that is to go and build something. So you don't have to do this. That's one suggestion. It's something that's worked for me is, I think, what problem do I want to solve in my field? Build an app or build a project, and then now you have something with which you can build a talk around. So that's one suggestion for you. So let's see. Next question is, if I refer to myself in the description, should I use first person or third person? So I think I've in the past used second person to say join this session where you can learn how to block. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that.
The way that I've experienced it is if you are hosting the event yourself, first person makes sense. Like I will this, that, or the other if you're actually the one that's creating the event. And then otherwise, if it's through, like Women Who Code or an organization, just imagining someone reading it. So in that case, not first person. But I would say I'm sure there's an exception somewhere. Don't send yourself in a spiral about it. If it's a program, they will probably format it and, say, hey, we need this to be done this way or that way. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's see. We have Valerie says, I'm a business and life coach, DEI consultant focused on workplace issues, particularly bullying. People who either are or experience it everywhere, including tech. Do you think this would be a welcome topic at this conference? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not sure if it is tech focused enough. Maybe if it can be in a bigger umbrella of the inclusion part maybe in making tech more accessible and safe for everyone. That might be a little bit broader and more tech focused perhaps, but I don't know if anyone has other thoughts on that.
Perhaps I would say it's all in the framing of it. So framing in a way that would pique the interest or the intrigue of tech professionals. So talking about challenging dynamics in stand-up or something. I don't know, not just on the fly thinking like, okay, what are very specific situations that are situations that are specific to tech professionals that might, in the big picture what you're going to address perhaps, but that might be the sort of hook that gets them in some way.
Let's see. Oh, and how should one prepare for a Q&A? Well, if you find yourself at an instant where someone asks you a question, you just have no idea how to answer it. Yeah, I think maybe Maria might have touched upon this a little bit.
Well, yeah, for the Q&A, I mean, it's great if when you prepare the talk, also put some questions down and put some answers down, just to have them like prepared and clear in your mind. And of course, if someone asks you a question and you have no idea how to answer it, so if you don't understand the question, you may ask for a clarification, or you may answer as you think and ask if this was enough, or if it wasn't enough, please add a follow-up question, or I hope whatever I said covered your question. And if you understand the question but you don't know the answer, I think it's better to be straight on it and say something. I have not investigated this yet, or it was not in the scope of what I was presenting, but I can check it out and we can discuss it later. I don't know, Yui, Hope, what do you think?
Another thing that I've tried also when confronted with a question I couldn't answer is, like you said, Maria, it's okay to just say, I don't know, but then you can also ask the audience, well, does anyone else have an idea? So that way you don't feel like you have to be the one to know everything, and maybe it might be good to kind of have a discussion about it if other people had ideas as well.
This comes up all the time when I'm teaching. Students will think about some really random, obscure thing regarding on the topic. And so what I usually say is, this is how I would approach answering it. Maybe I don't have the answer right on the top of my head. This is how I would approach it. And yeah, let's investigate together. And maybe let's collect any questions that we don't have and then follow up. And I do like to do a resource roundup at the end. So I'll say, I'll note that and we'll get back to you or follow up, and this is where you can find it. Yeah, it's perfectly okay to forget things and not have it, or just not have that immediately come to mind in the moment.
Also, if I may add, when I deliver presentations, sometimes I have some hidden slides, which are on topics that I didn't have enough time to cover during my talk, and I believe that the audience may still have questions about. So it's like a great trick if you get a question and then you can have another slide coming up, an extra slide to cover or extend or discuss further something that you have mentioned during the presentation.
Well, Maria's got all kinds of tricks, like
It's brilliant.
All right. Well, I think those are all the questions that we have. So, and yeah, we're coming up to the hour now, and I understand if some of you have to get going. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And do submit those CFPs. We want to see them. We want to see you present at Connect. So start sending them in. Okay, thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you everyone for joining. Do submit your proposal.